for you. When you want to find a new podcast to listen to, where do you look? If you can answer this question for us, you could win a $200 voucher. That's part of our podcast discovery survey prize draw. If you want to do that, head on over to thepodcasthost.com/survey. That's thepodcasthost.com/survey, and you can take part. Now, back to the show.
And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well,
Nora?
but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check.
Welcome to another episode of Seen and Heard podcast, where everyone should be seen and heard. Welcome to my co-host Chrissy and her soon-to-be birthday.
Yeah.
Happy early birthday.
Well, East Coast, it's what, 4 more hours?
4 more hours. Still a youngster. Now, did you watch any of the debate? Did you watch the VP debate? What were your thoughts?
I did. Well, I do like how they were cordial. I liked how they were honest in saying, I agree with this that you said, whatever. Like, that's how a debate should be. Not the tantrums and the name callings and things of that nature, you know. Yeah, there were times when people skirted around. That's to be expected, I guess, in this day and age. It means, you know, you skirt around the topic, but overall, I was pleased with it, the way it went all together. Like the moderators, the ladies had to, okay, I'm muting your mic. They can't hear you. Mute, you know, like they took charge.
And he was upset that they fact checked him about that, which I was actually pleasantly surprised because I was one of the people, the viewers that was just like, I just think that's journalistic malpractice if they don't fact check in real time, because what's the point of fact checking after the fact? If the lie is going to go around the world already, nobody's going to take time to listen to a fact check after the fact. So the damage will be done.
I mean, the sad part is a lot of the people that support them don't care if it's a lie or a truth, you know? So they believe what comes out of their mouths, and what comes out of their mouths in their head is God, is Bible, you know?
And there's consequences for that. I mean, unfortunately, like there was a lady yesterday. I sent you the article about the lady that was in queue, and she was one of the people at the Capitol that attacked the Capitol, and she lost everything, including her life. I mean, she lost her house, she lost her husband, all for Trump. And there's also another lady we're going to talk about that people may have forgotten, which I did too, but we'll talk about her in a little bit. But I wanted to play this because a lot of people are not talking about the Theo Bros, which that's a faction of right-wing Christian nationalist extremist groups that J.D. Vance is associated with. And I'm going to play this video where it explains what Theo Bros are. And I didn't know who they were either until I saw the video. So I think everybody should be aware of this faction of right-wing extremists that J.D. Vance is associated with. So I'm going to play this here.
And watch.
Yes, there are Christian nationalist influencers. Let me introduce you to the Theo Bros.
We can't force people to have faith in Christ, but we can as a people order that.
I'd rather have a Christian monarchy than our current state of affairs.
We could argue that now is the time to arms again.
So the Theo Bros are a group of mostly millennial Christian pastors and influencers. Many of them, most of them even, will tell you that they are Christian nationalists.
We are indeed Christian nationalists.
They're purposefully extreme and extremely online, so they're obviously connected to J.D. Vance.
There's this group called the Rockbridge Network. J.D. Vance was a founder. Peter Thiel is involved, and also this guy, Chris Buskirk.
And then, of course, Chris Buskirk, a great friend of mine.
Who was involved in American Reformer, which is kind of the unofficial magazine of the Theo Bros. I think it's important to say that not all of them hold every belief. That being said, I think some common beliefs that I have encountered are that we should be repealing the 19th Amendment. They'll talk about the dead Constitution and how the Ten Commandments should take its place.
I want a Christian nation more than a republic.
I think all 10 commandments should be legislated and enforced.
Some of them talk about prison reform, and by prison reform they mean public flogging instead of prison. Some of them talk about executing heretics. Involved in that is also execution of gay people.
But it's not just online. They're doing conferences, writing books, doing events.
One of the things that's been interesting lately is that some of their events have started to overlap with some events of more kind of mainstream politicians. And I think probably the most prominent example was the National Conservatism Conference, where you had Doug Wilson speaking at this conference.
And of course, coming to the high treachery, you were all no doubt anticipating I would address, make all our teens woke by means of chemtrails.
And you had J.D. Vance speaking there.
America is a nation. It is a group of people with a common history and a common future.
Now, if Theo Bros are kind of the millennial posters of the Christian nationalist movement, Doug Wilson is sort of like the boomer who passed the torch.
He has sort of built his own little Christian fiefdom in Moscow, Idaho. He has this church. He has, helped to start a school, like a K-12 school there. He has a college there, New St. Andrews College, that he's helped to found as well.
Now, it's this community in Idaho that he's built that Theo Bros see as sort of a blueprint for what a Christian America could and should look like.
Creating a legal framework in which people could create intentional communities where they could build something new would be a good idea to allow people to experiment.
Just like Doug Wilson, so too do many of the other Theo Bros want to do this in various places in the United States.
But he's also built this other type of blueprint for Christian nationalist influencing.
He was telling me about how he has his kids helping him produce these very slick videos.
The left is the cancer and Trump is the chemo.
He's taking some of these ideas, he's really making them for a broader audience and for a younger audience.
Now at this point, you might ask, where are all the women?
If you asked some of these guys where the women were, they would say they're at home, like taking care of the kids.
Godly women want to feed their men. Godly women are designed to make the sandwiches. When women were granted the right to vote, we were so muddled we thought we were giving the franchise to women when we were in fact taking it away from families.
And just for the record, I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed. I think that because, well, first and foremost, because I'm a Christian. If we had a Christian nation and women could vote, then within 50 years we would no longer have a Christian nation.
They don't think that women should be in leadership roles. They don't think that women should be out there voicing their opinions.
As we already know, Vance holds very particular views on gender.
If you bought into an idea that it's liberating to leave an 8-week-old baby to go work 90 hours a week at Goldman Sachs, you've been had.
You have women who think that truly the liberationist path is to spend 90 hours a week working in a cubicle at McKinsey instead of starting a family and having children. To me, what it is sort of a value system to replace the fact that they're all fundamentally atheist or agnostic. The people who are most deranged and most psychotic are people who don't have kids.
It's clear that they see J.D. Vance as someone who will help further their vision of a country that puts Christianity above all else.
I think these guys saw one of their collaborators in the White House. It would be proof to them that all of the effort that they have made, all of the time and money that has been invested, that it was all paying off.
There's so much more to this story, including connections to Project 2025, more about the web of J.D. Vance and Theo Bros that I can't even dream of touching on in a video like this. So go read Kira Butler's full piece at motherjones.com.
That's troubling. I wanted to play that just so people could be aware. And if you guys don't have the attention span, just speed up the video so it'll go faster, because it's around 5 minutes. So, but I just wanted to play that because I don't see it played on mainstream airways much. So we need to be aware that that's what JD Vance represents. You know, with minus everything that happened with the debate. That's knowledge that you need to make your decision, I believe. What did you think about all that with like taking women's rights away? And
well, I mean, the whole thing was just infuriating. Number one, there's a reason that they say you don't mix church and state. There is a reason for that. And then the nerve to think that women should be at home having families. Well, where are all the guys that want to provide for the women? So you're talking about women shouldn't be working 90 hours. What about those same women that got pregnant that are single mothers? Where are the men? You see what I'm saying? So maybe if the men were more Christian based or whatever, faith based, and actually stayed with a woman that they got pregnant and took care of her, maybe she could do that. Maybe she wouldn't have to go work. But things aren't like that. So until they go back in time and their mentality change and they decide they're going to be providers and take care of and X, Y, and Z, and stop putting so much into how a woman looks and this and that before they even want to talk to them, you know, until that happens, he needs to sit down. And the same sword they think they live by, they're going to die by that damn sword.
But not only that, who can afford one income household in this economy? That's not realistic, especially with the cost of daycare. The economy, if that were to happen,
be there. Well, daycare wouldn't be an option if the mother was home.
Well, a lot of moms still, they have to go run errands and go to the doctor. They can't take kids everywhere.
And the man's going to tell them, yes, they should.
Well, you know, he also said that the grandparents need to take the reins of, but the grandparents they had to go back into the workforce to get jobs to deal with this economy, to live and survive in the economy.
Not even that. Well, but outside of that, even if they didn't, the grandparents did their job in raising their child. Their job is not to raise their grandchildren.
To babysit, yeah, or whatever other circumstances.
Their job is not to babysit.
Right, right.
Especially in his situation,
right.
thought process. If the man is the provider and the woman's supposed to be home with the family, the grandparents are not supposed to be sitting here taking care of your children. You provide for your family. Now, once the daughter is married off, or whomever, once y'all are married, y'all are a family unit. So y'all do whatever. If the grandparents want to jump in as support, that's what they are. They are support. They are the grandparent. They support their children, but they are not the parent to parent the child, to take the reins, to jump in. They did their job. Now let them live their lives.
And that's actually in the Bible that they never read. There's I don't have the passage right off, but I'm going to paraphrase. Basically, when the young man gets married and leaves home, he leaves behind childish things. So basically, kind of what you said, but according to the Bible, it's in the Bible. There's a passage. I'd have to look it up, or somebody else could look it up and leave it in the chat for me. But I'm paraphrasing. That's basically what the passage is talking about. But yeah, he's on another kind of, you know.
And even outside of that, right? Like, I just lost my train of thought.
Now, grandparents do like to babysit and visit, but he's trying to turn them into the force to take up the actual babysitting or daycare.
Yeah, like I said, no.
Yeah, so women.
That's your child. That's your seed. You and your wife. You take care of that. Grandparents will jump in when they choose to,
or when they, when
no. When they choose to, it's a choice for the grandparents. They can say no at any point. Most of the time they won't, because it's their grandbabies and they love them and they love their children, but it's a choice. They choose to help. They are not required to help.
And then the tax on women that don't have babies. It's like a lot of women can't have babies. So you're going to stop and ask every woman if they can or can't. Why don't you have a baby?
When these same people, when their children that they think that they are raising in a Christian family, when their children turn up to be bisexual or gay because it's not a choice, when their children, decide I don't want to have kids, when their children, everything that they're saying is going to turn around and bite them in the butt tenfold. Yep. Because that is going to be the karma for this rhetoric. And the thing is, the people that are there are a lot of people that go to church and Bible people and Bible pushers, but they're interpreting it their own way. That doesn't mean that's what it was meant to be. Everybody reads something and interpret it different. That doesn't mean your interpretation is the correct way. But if that's how you choose to, and y'all want to go in Idaho or wherever this place is, and y'all want to live that way, so be it.
I agree with that. It's like, y'all want this little community, have it for yourself.
Yep.
Stop trying to force that on everybody else.
Y'all stay there. Y'all govern yourself. Y'all take care of yourself, and watch 80% of your children up and leave because of the force that you are putting on them.
I mean, they're already leaving the church. I grew up in the church as well, and for obvious reasons, you see what's going on. And then, we can get to a whole nother conversation about that. But speaking of karma, we got this is breaking news. Well, breaking news from yesterday. The United States District Court for the District of Columbia, United States versus Donald J. Trump, defendant. Criminal number 23CR257TSC. The government's motion for immunity determines the defendant asserts that he is immune from prosecution for his criminal scheme to overturn the 2020 presidential election because he claims it entailed official conduct. Not so. That was my favorite part of the beginning. Let me turn this around so everybody can see it. But that was my favorite part of the document. The very start. It says right here, not so. So as y'all can see, it's 165 pages, and I've glanced over it. I haven't finished it all, so it's going to take me a while, but I will read. I will highlight the important parts. But yeah, it's 165 pages. It's redacted, and I'm trying to match up a lot of the unredacted parts here because we could get the names. Like somebody has already started it on it was a journalist, independent journalist on Twitter. It's already matched up the P6, P8, the unredacted names and parts. So I have to go back and match that for the next. But just so y'all know, the document that is out, that was Jack Smith, finally, that was breaking news yesterday. And then we also have today, this is a treat. I don't know if y'all remember Tina Peters, because I really didn't until today, again, remember her. But she was one of the election deniers that was trying to overturn the election for Trump. And so today was her sentencing, and she got into an argument with the judge. So I'm going to play a couple of clips, but this first clip is one where the judge is, I'm not going to play all of them, but this is a clip where the judge is basically telling her that she should be ashamed of herself. So
the members of the county who worked and trusted you when you asked them to do things that they did on your behalf as part of your lies,
the expense, the toll is immeasurable. So putting you on probation when you have zero needs that would be met by probation is the very definition of unduly depreciating the significance of what it is that you've done here, the harm that you've caused our community and continue to cause. Community corrections is the same. So prison is the only place that duly meets the purposes of sentencing in this matter. And therefore the sentence and judgment of the court is as follows. As to counts 1 and 4, the judgment and sentence of the court is 3.5 years in the Department of Corrections. Those sentences will be concurrent to each other. As to count 2, the judgment and sentence of the court is 3.5 years consecutive to counts 1 and 4. As it relates to the misdemeanor charges, count 8 is 120 days in the Mesa County Detention Facility, concurrent to count 9 and 10, which will be 6 months in the Mesa County Detention Facility, consecutive to the prison sentence. The reason those sentences are consecutive is because those sentences are, as the prosecution stated, directly related to what it is that you did here in our community, the damage you caused this community, the breach of your oath to the electorate in Mesa County. Your sentence will be followed by 3 years of parole. You have 2 days of pre-sentence confinement credit. Anything I missed? Anything else we need to address?
Judge, I think you missed a sentencing on count 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Count 6 is criminal impersonation. That's also consecutive. That's 15 months to the Department of Corrections.
And the cost
so it's 8.5 years total, plus the 6 months for a total of 9 years of incarceration.
That judge was not having her shenanigans today. She was up there arguing and everything with him.
He went from concurrent to, okay, so these are concurrent. These are consecutive. Woof.
He was not having her shenanigans today. Okay, should I play the clip with her arguing with him? And he,
sure. Sure, go ahead.
Okay, hold on. He was just really not in the mood for her nonsense today.
I believe you, and I
did not say that. Okay. That is why I made the sound, because it's insulting to me for you to just put that in a record in front of all of these people that I believe something to be true.
Okay, and I apologize for that, Your Honor. That wasn't my intent. I do apologize for that.
In the machine, whatever it tabulates is whatever it tabulates.
No, it doesn't. It changes.
You're not letting me finish.
Okay,
whatever
please.
It tabulates is whatever it tabulates. My hand vote, my ballot remains the same. They counted those ballots. Did they not?
I understand what you're saying, Your Honor.
Did they count the ballots?
No, the ballot images were changed, and that's what the total shows. Okay, I'll move off of this because I can see that it, I would encourage to read the report number 3.
I've read them, ma'am.
You've read all of them?
I've read those reports. They were given to me at some point, I believe.
Good, good. Well, so you know what I'm saying is true. All right, let me move on. It's not funny. My life is on the line here, Your Honor.
No, you're the one who's making this allegation that, one,
it's
I think
not
it's
an
funny,
allegation.
and two, that I know it's true. You're saying that as if I believe you, and I did not say that.
Okay.
That is why I made the sound, because it's insulting to me for you to just put that in a record in front of all of these people that I believe something to be true.
Okay, and I apologize for that, Your Honor. That wasn't my intent. I do apologize for that.
He was not having it.
How are you going to tell me what I know?
And the fact that he was right, because she was trying to get it in the record so that they can come back later, like if she wanted to appeal the verdict and nitpick over every little thing and say, well,
see, no, the judge knows. He said no, that's not what he said.
He was not having it. And then she wants to cry. Okay, this is This is one where she's crying. I'm gonna play this too because it actually has to go concurrent. The little clips I'm showing. If y'all want to see the full trial, because I think they cut it off in before the end, so somebody had to repost it. But I'm gonna play this little clip here where she starts whining about how she feels that she's being treated.
Oh Lord.
Very taken back by how awful I've been depicted when I was just trying to do my job. The people expected me to do. When I look at the people that have spoken here today and asking for harsh sentences, I'm just appalled. I feel bad for them because I know, I've often said God doesn't like people messing with his kids. And I believe I'm a child of God. And I believe that it was important for someone to stand up. And I chose to do that. I have health problems that would not be treatable in the Department of Corrections. First of all, I need a magnetic mattress. I've been on that since 1995. I was in 2 rear-end collisions in 84 and 2010. It was pretty severe. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit, and chronic fatigue as a result, and I had to stop working for the airlines in 1995. I was up all night because I was in bed all day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't control these symptoms until I got, believe it or not, a magnetic mattress of which I still sleep on. I will not have that at the Department of Corrections.
Imagine that. White privilege card declined.
Cry me a river.
And I wonder if she felt the same way about Marcellus Williams or any other black people that are unjustly convicted in the system. You know, there are plenty of other women in prison that have ailments, cancer, like you said. They don't cry about mattresses or anything like that.
Mattresses or whatever she said. Like, listen. I mean, maybe your leader, maybe your fearless leader will, I mean, I don't know, maybe he'll come visit you.
Right? Where is he?
Maybe I could sit there and sing Kumbaya. Why isn't he like preaching on his platform the unjust for whatever Peter is?
And on that note, we're going to close out with a happy anniversary here for some people that are not, you know, getting felonious charges. The Obamas, they have 32 years together, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner and friend to go through life with. Oh, that's sweet.
Very cute.
And then happy birthday to Chrissy, to my lovely co-host Chrissy, and we're right at time. We did a good time today. Thank you all for joining. Don't forget to like, comment, share, donate. We're still doing our fundraiser. Donate, that helps us. And then thumbs up the video, that helps us with the algorithm. And we will see you on the next show.
See ya.
Bye.